Something remarkable happened at CPAC yesterday, and it wasn't just Elon Musk wielding a chainsaw. Two of the most powerful men in America, Trump and Musk, just pointed to something that should concern every American, Fort Knox. And Trump said that he doesn't want to, when Trump said he doesn't want to open it and find the cupboards bare, Musk responded with a simple tweet that set off alarm bells in Washington. A live stream of Fort Knox would be fire. Why are they both suddenly talking about America's gold reserves? What do they know that we don't? Well, tonight we'll show you why this could be the biggest story of the century. Well, Musk and Trump expose what's happening in Fort Knox. There's something that the deep state doesn't want you to know. The global financial system is shaking. When two of the world's most powerful men start asking questions about America's gold reserves, smart money starts moving, and that's why I trust Noble Gold Investments with my financial future. They understand what's really happening. Don't wait for the Fort Knox audit to secure your retirement with gold. Visit nextnewsgold.com. It's linked down below to protect your wealth while you still can. That's nextnewsgold.com. Before it's too late, call that number, 877-646-5347. It is on the screen right now. So let's check out some of these highlights from the Elon Musk appearance at CPAC. And we have so much to get into, but I think this was just so clever. When, you know, let's just listen to this.
Say like, sometimes like
to end this war.
Say like,
yeah.
You know, I'm a bought asset of Putin.
Yeah.
I'm like, he can't afford me.
Yeah. I think you're worth more than Russia.
Think about it.
I like that.
Putin can't afford Elon Musk. And then here we have Elon Musk trolling the left on stage for their pathetic attacks.
That you're looking for paying right now, that the reason that you want to get into Social Security, that you want to get into all of these different, into Treasury and things like that, is that you're looking for personal information and you're trying to make more money.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody as rich as you that cared less about money in my life. Every time I hear a story about you, you're sleeping on a couch of some other guy in a city that you could buy the entire thing.
Yeah,
I don't think you care about money, do you?
No, actually, I mean, listen, like, if I steal some Social Security, I can finally buy nice things.
Yeah.
You know?
These clipped out by Nick Sortor, who actually met at CPAC just last night, actually. We have this. Funds recovered by the HUD DOGE task force have been de-obligated to the U.S. Treasury. Listen to this. Oh, no, this is... So they can be used to better serve the American people. Fiscal responsibility and transparency are back. We have more too. This was just 8 hours ago. Fake must-watch press secretary smacks down fake news loser Peter Alexander as he tries to run cover for the waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government. Let's listen.
We're now hearing from constituents in some traditionally red districts right now complaining about what they say is the chainsaw approach and saying that it's been done very sloppily, the cuts to jobs and spending. How do you respond to that criticism?
I love how the media takes a few critics when the overwhelming response from the American people is support for what this administration is doing. If you look at the public polling, 70% of Americans, according to CBS, believe that President Trump is delivering on the promises he made. And there should be no secret about the fact that this administration is committed to cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. The president campaigned on that promise. Americans elected him on that promise, and he's actually delivering on it. And this is something that Democrats promised they would do for decades. President Trump is just the first president to get it done.
Let me ask you about the fraud, if I can. We can all have our own opinion about what is wasteful spending, and Republicans have praised the president for cutting wasteful spending, but fraud, of course, is a crime. So have you turned over evidence of fraud to the Justice Department, and when should we expect to see those indictments?
It's a clever question. First of all, I think all Americans would agree that funding mastectomies in Mozambique is not something that the American people should be funding, or DEI programs. I think it's fraudulent that the American government has been ripping off taxpayers in this way. And we also do know there has been extensive fraud, particularly if you look at Social Security. In fact, according to an IG report from the Social Security Administration, there was $71 billion worth of fraud in one single fiscal year that we know about. And so that is a lot of fraud, Peter, that this the government has admitted to. So this administration is committed to finding even more of that fraud, waste, and abuse.
To be clear, that $71 billion was from 2015 to 2022, so it wasn't in just 1 year, and it was
$71 billion.
But it wasn't in 1 year, just to be clear.
In one report.
And it was in one report over multiple years, from 2015 to 2022.
So are you defending $71 billion in fraud, Peter? That's a lot of money, far too much, and that's why this administration. Why is the media so against cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the government? I don't get it.
I just want to ask a question.
We won't be deterred. We will not be deterred from people like you and the press who are clearly adamantly opposed to cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. But we know that American taxpayers at home who have been struggling with an inflationary crisis don't want their tax dollars going towards crazy DEI programs in countries overseas. They also don't like the fact that there has been $71 billion worth of fraud in Social Security and improper payments going out the door. That's a problem that needs to be fixed, and President Trump is going to fix it. That's your fifth question.
You gotta love it. She is just going scorched earth on them. And here we have Donald Trump bringing up the gold in Fort Knox once again. Listen to this.
Heard about Fort, and I'm going to do something. I'm actually going on this one. You know, all my life I've heard about Fort Knox. That's where the gold is kept, right? I heard Fort Knox. Oh, but you know, we're getting a little bit shaky. We're getting the yips on this stuff. Like, I want to find out. So we're going to open up the doors. I'm going to see if we have gold there. We want to find out. Did anybody steal the gold in Fort Knox? It's a pretty amazing place, but I'm going to actually go. We're going to open the doors. We're going to inspect Fort Knox. We want to make sure that we actually have, you know, 400 tons of gold or whatever the hell it is. It's a lot of gold. I don't want to open it and the cupboards are bare. Could happen. And I'm going to just...
Oh, we're going to find out the answer to the question we have all been waiting for. Is there gold in Fort Knox that hasn't been audited since the 70s? A lot of people believe that their audit is going to fail. And it's kind of curious that we're suddenly seeing tons of gold being shipped in from London right now. Are they trying to restock Fort Knox before Donald Trump opens up the cupboards? We're going to find out soon enough. And here is Elon Musk more talking about those DOGE dividend checks. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, it's the bureaucracy.
That's exactly right. Let's talk about these DOGE dividend checks that everybody's talking about this week. And I know you tweeted out that you were going to, does everybody want like a $5,000 check in the mail? It sounds kind of good, right? And the best part about it would be knowing where it came from. That's $5,000 that you sent them last year.
Totally. It's money that's taken away from things that are destructive to the country and from organizations that hate you to you. That's awesome.
Does it seem, I mean, have you talked to...
I mean, that's like glorious. That's like the spoils of battle, you know?
I like that. Is there traction on that?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I talked to the president. He's supportive of that. And so it sounds like, you know, that's something we're going to do.
Yep.
So as we're finding savings, that's going to translate directly to reductions in tax. So.
Yeah.
$5,000 checks for all Americans. Here we have Governor Kevin Stitt. This is the philosophical difference. Is it the government's money or the taxpayers? Listen.
Congress has got to. My question
on MSNBC.
People, if you think about it, we don't borrow money to donate to a charity at the end of the year. But right now, we're borrowing $2 trillion to do all this humanitarian work around the world. And I'm not saying it's not important, but we have to, Congress has got to balance the budget. We have got to get our spending under control.
0.4%. The key point is budget. I mean, you know that, don't you? You know that the USAID budget is a tiny amount of money.
But if
if you're going to balance the budget, you need to attack things like Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, right? To have a real impact on America's spending, it's not going to be on the USAID budget.
I'm a businessman. If it's more than a ham sandwich, we're going to look at it. And so
looking at it is great.
When you think about billions of dollars, I think most Oklahomans are like, yeah, that's wasteful. Let's spend it on U.S. citizens. Let's spend it on infrastructure here.
Do you know?
Well, if we're borrowing money to spend it in Burma and around the world on certain initiatives, isn't that the president's job? Doesn't he get the right
to look at it?
To say, hey,
Congress make decisions.
But he's also the executive branch, and we elect a president. And if you can't be the executive of the executive branch, what type of government do we have, right?
See, they're complaining. Oh, it's only 1%. It's very small. Why do we care about just 1%? Because inside that 1% is billions upon billions upon billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse. And they are cutting it quickly. Let's see what else we've got here in the lineup. Here's Elon Musk with that chainsaw with Javier Milei. Check this out. Here he comes out on stage. Javier bringing him the chainsaw to cut the waste, fraud, and abuse out of the government. Beautiful to see right there. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby, let's go. Look at that. Yep, it is the Elon Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It is the Elon Chainsaw Doge Massacre. That's what it is. You're witnessing it right there. I think we've got another clip here from something backstage. Here is Doge designer. Yeah, there they are, posing with the chainsaw backstage for everyone to see. Gotta love it. Yep, rip it up and rip it out. That's what Elon Musk is doing with the Doge boys. I'm here for every single minute of it. Here we have more. This is from Sean Duffy 24 hours ago. Over a decade and 16 billions of taxpayer dollars wasted with zero results on a rail project?
And no rail has been built. I want to address the protesters for a moment, if I could. I think they were chanting, build the rail. It's been 17 years and $16 billion. And no rail has been built. So if you want to go protest somewhere, if you want to shout at someone, go to the governor's mansion. Go talk to Democrats in the legislature who have brought us this crappy project. Right? So we've seen over the course of the last month what DOGE has exposed with regard to fraud, waste, and abuse. And we're done with it. And you know what? You're going to have people who love fraud, who love waste, who love trains to nowhere. But all of us up here, we do not love fraud, waste, and abuse. We are going to use the taxpayer money efficiently and effectively, and this is a boondoggle. I want to address...
Yeah, you see that? They are chanting for waste, fraud, and abuse. They want more of it. That just shows you how demented these people are. Here is our new SBA, our small business administrator, talking about what she's going to do.
History. Look, we have the most consequential president in our history, and he's also one of the most consequential businessmen in American history. So President Trump understands the importance of small business, but he understands accountability in these agencies. And I am so grateful that we are moving quickly to implement the DOGE agenda to hold accountable these runaway bureaucracies within the agencies. And we're certainly going to do that at the SBA because we have the opportunity to unleash American prosperity under the America First agenda. And we can see that's already happening with President Trump's first month. But none of that's going to be possible if we're mired in unaccountable bureaucracy. And all you have to do is look as far as the Joe Biden administration, where he's cost small businesses and families $1.6 trillion in regulation. Yeah. So to the conversation you and Dagan were just having, unprecedented risks in spending and debt, but also the regulatory state that is strangling small businesses and small business formation. So I am so excited to work alongside DOGE. I've talked to Elon about it. I've talked to President Trump about it, and we're ready to go. Look,
let's go. Make small business great again. We've got more here. This is the Commerce Secretary confirming Trump is looking to abolish the IRS. This is not a drill. This is our new Commerce Secretary. Listen to the language he's using.
Well, and I'm telling you, you watch it, we're going to do it.
If you get savings from these DOGE cuts, are you going to give any of this back to the American people? We keep hearing about these DOGE dividends.
Well, think about it. Donald Trump announces the External Revenue Service, and his goal is very simple, to abolish, his goal is to abolish the Internal Revenue Service and let all the outsiders pay. I mean, this is someone who is focused on America. Let's drive down our waste, fraud, and abuse. I'll give you an example. Cruise ships. You ever see a cruise ship with an American flag on the back? They have flags of like Liberia or Panama. None of them pay taxes. None of them pay taxes. Every super tanker, none pays taxes. Alcohol, all foreign alcohol, no taxes. This is going to end under Donald Trump, and those taxes are going to be paid, and Americans' tax rates are going to come down. That's what Donald Trump wants to do. Balance our budget and cut our taxes. I mean, imagine a Democratic senator going against that. What planet are these people? And I'm telling you.
What planet are they on? I don't know. Here we have Ted Cruz talking about Elon not thinking just outside the box. He doesn't even know there is a box.
All right, you and I have... Well, look, I think Elon Musk is very much a change agent. There are 8 billion people on planet Earth, and if you assume intelligence is distributed on a bell curve, Larry, you and I have both known some incredibly smart people. Someone is at the bleeding edge of that bell curve, and I think his name is Elon. I mean, it is, you spend time with him. Elon doesn't just think outside the box. He doesn't know there's a box. It's an incredible thing. Right. And I will say it is an incredible asset to President Trump to have someone like Elon willing to dive in night and day and pour his prodigious talents into fighting for President Trump's agenda. I'll also say there are an awful lot of Democrats and a lot of folks in the corporate media who are desperate to try to drive a wedge between President Trump and Elon Musk. They're doing everything they can to try to create friction. And as far as I can tell, those efforts have been an utter failure. The two are working hand in hand, and that's good for America. Yeah.
Yep, they keep trying, and they keep losing. Here's President Trump detailing insane instances of abuse, waste, and fraud by the Social Security Administration uncovered by DOGE.
Now, we're also finding tremendous abuse, waste, and fraud in Social Security. Social Security is what's happening there is going to be one of the great potential scandals in history. On the program, there are over 4.7 million Social Security numbers from people from 100 years old to 109. Think of that. Now, over 100, there aren't a lot of people that make it. Hopefully, most of the people in this room will make it, but historically, you don't have thousands and thousands of people. But listen to this, 3.6 million people are on Social Security rolls from the age of 110 years old to 119. Do you think there are really that many? Those people are seriously old. But it gets worse. 3.47 million people are on Social Security from the age of 120 years old to 129 years old. 3.9 million people are on the age of Social Security from 130 years old to 139 years old. Now, the all-time record, I heard, is a woman who was 127 years old. That's the record. A woman from a certain country where they have actually people that live pretty long, actually. And she was 127 years old. That's pretty old, but we're topping her by millions of people. 3.5 million people from the age 140 to 149 years old. 1.3 million people are on Social Security from the age 150 to 159. And over 130,000 people are on Social Security over the age of 160 years old, okay? Including 1,039 people, think of it, over 1,000 people between the ages of 220 to 229. And one person between the age of 240 years old to 249. And the record topper, there is one person on Social Security who's 360 years old, which is approximately 110 years older than our country. So what we're trying to find out, and what we will find out, is are people being paid from all of these, somebody pocketing 10,000 here, 10,000 there, what's going on? So we'll find that out pretty easily.
Oh, we're going to find it out. It is all becoming clear. Here we have MAGA Resource. Trump's bold plan / waste, sending American taxpayers 20% of the DOGE savings.
80% of President Trump's DOGE dividend could be a really big deal. And it's really simple the way it works. You take all the money that DOGE saves, 80% of it goes down to paying the national debt, 20% goes back to taxpayers in the form of a refund check. Why? They were lied to. They were cheated. They were defrauded. Their money was supposed to go to bridges in America and veteran health care, and instead it was sent overseas for climate operas in Colombia and DEI musicals in Myanmar. That's unacceptable. So the first reason you need the DOGE dividend is because you have to do right by the taxpayers. They deserve a refund check for the money that they sent to Washington that was abused. Number two, when you cut the taxpayer into DOGE, you incentivize them to report abuse, waste, and fraud that they see in their own lives in the federal government, and that in turn drives up the total savings that DOGE delivers, and in turn drives up the DOGE dividend check. Number three, it restores the trust between the taxpayer and the federal government. There's a contract there. The taxpayer pays their taxes and works hard, and the federal government delivers services. That contract has been broken, as DOGE has exposed. So now it's time to restore trust. What better way to do that than to apologize and actually deliver on that apology with a refund check? And then fourth and finally, because the DOGE dividend is contingent on that individual having paid federal income tax this year, it will actually incentivize labor force participation. If folks know that there's a $5,000 check coming next summer when DOGE wraps up its work, and they're on the sidelines now, that gives them every incentive to join the labor force, to start paying taxes, and in turn to get that $5,000 checks. Of course, the economic benefits of more Americans entering the labor force are enormous. Right now, 7 million working age men are neither working nor looking for work. So President Trump's DOGE dividend on every single count is a positive. And the best part is the inflationary risks just aren't there. Unlike the COVID stimulus checks, which were funded via deficit spending, borrowing money, these are funded exclusively with savings. For every $5 saved from DOGE, $1 goes to the taxpayer. So again, not funded by deficits, funded by savings. And then number two, think about who these checks are going to. They're going to households that have paid federal income tax. In fact, when you look at these types of households, when they get a $5,000 check like this, they save, they don't spend it. They use it to pay down debt. They use it to create a rainy day fund. They use it to reorganize their life and their finances. So very different from the COVID stimulus checks that went to everyone at a time when there were massive supply chain disruptions and a negative labor shock. President Trump's DOGE dividend is the icing on the cake. 77 million people voted for President Trump because they know he will deliver major government reform. This new administration, 1 month in, is off to an insane start, and we're going to keep the good work going. Honored to have Elon's interest in this DOGE dividend proposal by my investment firm, Azoria.
Wow. Wow. Folks, what would you do if you got a check for $5,000 from the DOGE dividend? What would you spend it on? Would you save it? Would you invest it? What would you do? I want to hear how you would use that money, that DOGE money that's due to us. Drop a comment below. So what we just saw at CPAC wasn't just Musk trolling the left with a chainsaw. It was a coordinated revelation about the state of America's gold reserve. So think about it. Trump announces he's going to Fort Knox for an audit. And within hours, Musk calls for a live stream. This isn't coincidence. The DOGE dividend announcement, the Fort Knox audit, the chainsaw demonstration, it's all connected to one central truth. The system isn't just broken. It might be completely empty. And now for the first time, we have two of the most powerful outsiders in America ready to expose it all. But here's what we need to ask ourselves. If they're this worried about us seeing inside Fort Knox, what else are they hiding from the American people? Share your theories in the comments below, and I want to know how you are going to spend that $5,000 check. And show your support for the Next News Network by checking out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked below.